Meeting Act of 1975, was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by statute. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, are there any review changes to this agenda?
Yes, Mayor, there are two. We have the addition of a presentation by Anthony DeSantis of Millville Plastics, and also the tax collector's report had an error, which was replaced with the corrected report.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, move that the bills get paid after properly certified.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Also, Mr. Mayor, motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes for the October 1st work session, the regular session, the closed session.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes. We're now going to presentations.
Okay, Mr. DeSantis, can come up to the podium.
Mr. DeSantis, I need you up to the podium. Okay. Lou.
Mayor, members of the commission, Louis Magazine on behalf of Mr. DeSantis and Mr. Parada. I had hoped to give this to you in closed session, but I will instead, through the clerk, give you a copy of this now. This is a press release that's going out to the Gannett papers. Went out, and I'll just read the first paragraph. And then Mr. DeSantis will make his presentation, then I'll close. Green Envirotech Holdings announced today Millville, New Jersey has made the final cut to host the first plastics recycling facility of its kind in the nation. Gary DeLaurentiis, CEO, announced after an exhaustive statewide search spanning several months for a suitable location, I'm pleased to confirm the signing of a letter of intent to lease a space known as the former Wheaton Glass in Millville to establish the first plastics recycling facility of this type, utilizing GETH patented technology. Over 1 million square feet of existing buildings will be utilized for the recycling operations. The company will be leasing the buildings known as 1300 and 1401 Wheaton Avenue, as well as 200 G Street, if approved by the Millville City Commission. Within 1.5 years, we will be completely relocated to Millville, and this will become our new headquarters, taking over the old Wheaton Glass facility. The location is ideally suited for our operation, with 3.5 megawatt substation already on site, 2.8 inch water main, 3 artesian wells, industrial sewer, and workforce. The other point is they make a commitment for 300 employees. I'll close, but I just wanted you to know that this has hit the papers, that Millville has made the cut. I also would like to indicate that I understand I'll wait till Mr. DeSantis makes the presentation, then I'll wrap up.
Good evening, everybody. Mayor Santiago, Commissioner Udalvis, Commissioner Parent, Commissioner Pepitone, Commissioner Cooper, and everyone else present here tonight. I'd like to thank the Commission for the opportunity to make this presentation on what I believe is going to be a revival of Millville's history. If at any point you have a question, feel free to stop me at that point. I'll be more than happy to expand upon it at that time. All right. I brought over a couple of videos, and I've invited Cindy Dalmasi, our designer on the project, and Robert Feller, the engineer, in order to tie in the equipment that not only that Cindy's representing me on the building, Robert, Green Tech Environmental on their project, but I could also expand upon whatever questions we've had in the past. If you remember, we've had this video once again before in the past, And what I'll do is I'll just play it, just so, you know, everybody could be reminded of it. All right. I'm not going to play the entire video, but I'll just fast forward a little bit. During this presentation, we went into detail what we are going to do, and at that time, you guys, were content and approved it. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is the landfill of Santiago in the Dominican Republic. What we've done is we've gone there and we've taken this area that you're going to see, and you're going to see what we've transformed it into. Not only that, but we've made it into a profitable venture. We were able. So basically what I mean, like I was telling you, what I want to do is I'm just fast forwarding it, just so everybody gets a brief reminder of everything here.
Sure.
So as you could see, this took place that day.
Within that area.
This is the facility that,
Now, this is rather simplistic because of the country that we're working in. So being that we were in the Dominican Republic, we used less technology.
as you could see, that was an $11.5 million investment. And Commission, people had said that what I was doing was impossible, and we proved them wrong. We brought in the technology to make it happen.
500 people working.
All right?
And we succeeded.
That facility is running today, and I invite anyone who wants to go see it to come down and take a look at it.
Separated. That is the into and
Both of them were acknowledged for saving the lives and putting themselves in jeopardy, not to say.
She has some, one minute to listen, that's it. Okay. So the reason why I introduced this is just to explain to you that we've done this presentation in the past, and I'll be more than happy to expand upon it again. But instead of wasting 2 hours on the actual business of what we've already discussed, what I would like to do is to work with the people and the commission and give them my vision of the complex. And hopefully my vision, working along with yourselves and the money that we're committed to invest, will become your vision. Also, let me say that it's not written in stone. If the city would like to see a change, to the project, structure, some history, I believe in retaining history. I think Millville had a vibrant past. Repairing, rebuilding those buildings, putting it up, and bringing in 300 employees, 80 to start, which is my goal, and to top off somewhere around 300 plus. We work in 3 shifts, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including holidays. The jobs are mid-level to upper management. Let's say about 74%, if I remember correctly. The remainder of it will be forklift drivers, handlers, sweepers, maintenance guys in the when I say maintenance, I mean yard maintenance. Cindy, if you don't mind. No, what I'd like to do also is, go ahead. Go ahead, and I'll show them afterwards.
Cindy, can you give us your full name and who do you work for?
Yes, my name is Cindy Dalmasi. Good evening. I am an architect from CDA Architects. We are a firm based in Santo Domingo.
Okay.
Okay, so We already are part of the American Institute of Architects and the Green Building Council. And when the project was brought to us, we saw it as a challenge because of the complex type of project that it is. We've designed other projects for the group, and we believe this is a great opportunity. If my English tends to be good, but if it fails me, they told me that you can also work some Spanish words.
I can translate.
I hope you don't need
Rock,
to.
can I say
I hope
for a
you don't
price?
need to. Yes, I hope you don't need to. Okay, so so this the Millville Industrial Park. So this is obviously the location you all know about, and this is the intervention area. So what we'd like to remind you is how it looks today. When I saw the project, basically it looks like a ghost zone, or like someone call it a war zone. And coming from and being in other countries where I can see what abandoned areas do to the context, I believe great design or major changes in design also changes the behavior of the residents. So this is what it looks today. Some pictures. These are similar projects that have been made in Boca Raton, Florida, and here in the United States, also in the Dominican Republic. And I just want you to vision the look and feel of the project, what we can do with the existing structures that you have right now, because we don't believe in tearing everything down because of the impact, the high impact that can have to the environment. So we can reuse the existing structure and just changing the exterior look and the appearance, and also the use of alternative technology like solar panels and solar poles and other technologies. We can improve the conditions of the area. This is also look and feel, what we can do with the same structures that you have there. Your imagination is, the limit. So I'm going to show you what we are thinking about in an schematic proposal right now.
I was going to show them just to go back 2 pictures, if you don't mind.
Okay, 2 pictures there.
The area that is in question right now, if I may approach.
Which color, the red?
No, it's not only the red. I'm sorry, Commissioner Gonzalez. I'm going to just come up between you guys. That first building there,
Which one? This one?
no, the one behind it, to the left. No, the big one. Okay, the end of that building is the property line for the city has. It goes a right, and then it makes the first left after the pond. So that's the area in question. Behind it, the yellow up to the motor vehicles, all the yellow and across the street is what we currently own. Okay? So you could see the natural attrition of what we want to do. Okay?
Okay, so I'm going to show you a small video. Remember, this is a schematic proposal that can be obviously changed and improved. But this is just to make you realize how changes can be made.
This is the actual location.
Is that the existing pond?
It's existing when we're finished with it.
No, it's existing now.
Right.
This is what it would look like.
This is a proposal that we have envisioned of the context. So as you can see, only like changing things like materials, exterior appearance. This design is not just for the industry, it's also for the people, for the residents, and give participation to the nature and to the vegetation, obviously. And we can believe that with that type of intervention, that it should be minimum in terms of not tearing everything down, we can improve the zone. Okay, so let me show you a few images that are not just the video.
Commissioners, when we were planning this, we took something into serious consideration that I'd like to express to everyone, is that while planning this, I was involved with the Port Authority of New York and Transportation Secretary. That was it. It'll come to me. Long story short, the thing that we looked at was removing trucks from the road. What we want to do is we want to minimize the impact of rail and trucks. I mean, at the current moment, I mean, you don't want too many trains coming through, because what's going to happen, you're going to have congestion, so people are going to get hurt, roads going to get blocked. In addition to that, you don't want heavy trucks tearing up your roadways, ripping them out, going to the center of town. So our plan utilizes a combination of trucks and rail in order to minimize the impact into the environment and to the people of Millville, because nobody wants a train passing through at 4 in the morning. And that's one of the things that we take into consideration.
Okay, so let me show you a few pictures of the, okay. So basically what we are trying to do here is keeping like 70% right now of the existing structures. So most of the things that you see here are structures that can be reutilized, and just with the modification of the minimum modification, we can have a major impact in the zone. As you can see, we also are giving the green spaces more participation. That one?
The building to the lower right, what we want to do, what we'd like to propose also, after speaking to people within the community, we'd like to offer that as something that's subsidized by us as a substation for the police department. We feel that an increased police presence, even as a substation or a place where they can go and have lunch or take a break, will show police presence throughout the city, whereby helping to reduce crime in the city of Millville, which is part of our goal here.
Also something that we are trying to, that we believe it should be kept, is the identity of the zone. So doing this without losing the what Millville is. So as you can see, it's the same project, but we are making it better. We are improving it. And with the opinion, obviously, of the people and of you, we can also make a better proposal than this one. So we are obviously open to the opinions and the comments of all of you. Most of you will recognize the buildings and the structures that we have there. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
What I'd like to do is ask Robert Feller to come up for a moment, who works for Green Envirotech, and just confirm what I said about the availability of the funds. Just identify yourself.
Robert Feller, Senior Vice President of Engineering and Environmental Compliance for Green Envirotech Holdings.
Now, Mr. Feller, I'm going to try to make it real quick, and like it was almost like a zoning board meeting. You heard me make representations about a couple of things. One, that the company has identified.
Lou,
Yes.
pull the mic towards you, please,
Thank
so
you.
everybody can hear you. Thank you.
That's never been a complaint before.
It is today.
Thank you, Mayor. So anyway, I want to confirm three things. very briefly. 4 things. One is that I was accurate with respect to the $150 million and 300 jobs that the company is prepared to commit. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And you've seen this presentation, and your proposed uses can fit within this presentation.
Well, the existing buildings that are there, I've measured them out, and I've measured out the existing buildings and look at the infrastructure, and with some minor modifications to the interior, closing up some of the holes in the floors, and obviously rewiring. We feel that this was the optimum place after an extensive search, which included all 21 counties throughout New Jersey, southeastern New York State, Delaware, and eastern Pennsylvania.
Now, also, and again, just for the benefit of the audience as well as the commission, you need 200 G Street. You're looking actually at 1401, 1300, and 200 G Street. You need that entire complex to make this work. Is that correct?
The company was looking to put its worldwide headquarters in, I guess, what was former the Administration of Purchasing building, and that's 200 G Street, the old brick building that's now got a lot of overgrowth on it. That was our original premise, was that after the renovations were done, we'd take that over and expand from there.
How soon would the company be prepared to move forward? What's the funding plan? If you know, I know that finance is not your. If you don't know that,
I was going to say, you really want to screw things up?
Right.
Give an environmental engineer a
We had the president of the company who was prepared to talk to you all in closed session, and he did have he had his financial CFO available. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. And let me confirm one final, or deal with one misconception. I have received emails from the solicitor saying that this was only an opportunity zone fund. Can you allay their concerns with that in that regard?
I certainly can. And as I said earlier, if you want to screw things up, give an environmental engineer something to do with finance. And there was a misconception. It's my fault. I fall on the sword. I take the blame. We had discussed opportunity zone issues with another location that we're currently looking at, and I'll tell you where it is. It's up in Wharton and Dover, right off Route 80, which would give us the opportunity to take the plastic from New York City. And obviously, I do the bird dogging, look at the facilities, look for places where we have an opportunity to set up with minimal impact but provide maximum service. And I was under the impression that this particular section was an opportunity zone. That was an error, and it was a crossover from the Dover-Wharton site that I looked at the week previous. So I will fall on my sword and assume responsibility.
The real question. The funding can be used in non-opportunity zone areas.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. I want to just thank you very much, sir. And I want to have Mr. Barry Campbell come up just for a moment, because Mr. Campbell is also interested in being part of this complex. I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions. Try to expedite it. Mr. Barry Campbell. Just identify yourself.
Good evening. My name is Barry Campbell, and I'm with H.H. Craig.
And Mr. Campbell, what is your business, and what way would you incorporate your business into the larger presentation that you've heard?
Well, my business primarily deals with computers, primarily mainframe. What we're trying to do with this complex is to use a portion of it for our disaster recovery operations. Right now it looks like it's maybe about 30 employees that would be involved, and our need is immediate to short term.
Thank you. Let me just wrap this up by making a couple of points. First, Mr. DeSantis and Mr. Peratt provided the $125,000. Anthony, is that the number? $125 it was to settle the case? Yes. The $125,000 that settled the GGI case in the city of Millville. That case would still be in court, very likely, without the $125,000 from them. They did that on good faith that there would be the opportunity to develop this. Then a different administration came in, and we were asked to delay so that there would be a new opportunity to deal with Mr. Schroeder, which we did. And we were also asked to put a redevelopment plan together, which we did. Spent probably, the bill's probably in excess of $50,000 for a redevelopment plan. We went before the planning board for an informal, and then we spoke to the city commission. And there was a sense, you're too broad, you want to do too much. So we tightened it up. I sent 3 or 4 emails to Mr. Russell that did not really receive a response as to substance, and said that we would really bring our reach substantially down, which we thought would please the commission. The thing that this project has been missing is not vision, but it's been money. It had money at the beginning, before Mr. DeSantis even hired me, and then there was delay before I got involved. And then we've moved forward, but there's also been delay. And I'm not going to throw stones as to why, how, or why. But what I know now is that we have $150 million here committed and 300 jobs committed. Now, it's not what would have to happen. All we're asking for is the opportunity for a contract of sale to be signed and then to go before the planning board, who would have to approve it, and then come back to the city commission, who would have to approve it. That's what we're asking for. Now, I know a little bit about economic development. I was the one who drew up the UEZ program, the second generation loan program in Vineland in 1992. As a result of that, there's $50 million that Vineland lends to businesses that want to come into Cumberland County. I think Deputy Mayor Parent was mayor or was commissioner when UEZ came. And when I'm in Millville, I call it the Millville-Vineland UEZ. When I'm in Vineland, I call it the Vineland-Millville UEZ. But the UEZ. I was also one of the folks who brought the federal empowerment zone here. I'm not sure if you were on the Freeholder board with me or not then. I think it was a little after that. I also was the attorney who did the project called the Cumberland Mall Project. So I know about economic development. And I've heard through the grapevine that the city is now looking at another project, some kind of rail depot with Winchester Weston or something like that. I'm not sure what you're looking at. But I will tell you this. If, in fact, you're looking at some type of rail depot, a rail depot is not going to spend $150 million, and it's certainly not going to create 300 sustained jobs. And it's certainly not going to have this type of presence that could literally change the face of the city of Millville. And I want to just reiterate for the audience, we're not asking for a final determination here. We're just asking for a contract sale that would have conditions that where we're allowed to spend $150 million in Millville. We're allowed to hire 300 jobs in Millville. The question you have to ask yourself is, how did you vote when a company came in and wanted to spend $150 million? Now, I also understand that Mr. Riesenberger has opined beyond his environmental areas about the stocks and the type of company. Of course, unfortunately, we didn't get the benefit of that. I'm going to be making an Oprah request. And since Mr. Riesenberger did not act as environmental counsel, and that's his resolution, I would suggest that he opined outside his area of jurisdiction, and therefore there's no lawyer-client privilege. And I'm going to suggest to you also, I knew something about another penny stock called AMCEL that closed at about $250 million. So the fact that something starts as a penny stock is not pejorative. In fact, it's used as a shell for funding mechanisms to come through. And I say that as someone who's done over $3 billion of transactional work. So the question is, I hear the city commission talk about progress at the end of meetings. The question is whether you want the progress to happen now or do you want it to just go through the city on a train. That's the question. That's the question you need to decide. And whether you want to say to this developer who already spent millions of dollars, you know what, we're going to give you another shot. We're not saying it's a done deal necessarily because you've got to come to the planning board and get their approval and you've got to come back to this city commission. But if we do not get some green light by this city, this project's going to collapse. And I don't know what happens to the other 2 buildings. I don't know what usage, because unfortunately as to this development, it needs all 3. Because it needs the rail. Now, let me also remind you that the substation is on Mr. DeSantis' property right now. This was once one huge complex, and it's been balkanized and divided up. We want to make it a huge complex again for the benefit of the city of Millville. What we're asking, and again, I wanted to do it in closed session, but we're not given that opportunity, but I do appreciate this opportunity, Mayor and Commission. We're asking for the opportunity to move forward. That's all we're asking for. So that he can go back to his boss, who was prepared to talk to this commission, and say, you know what, Millville is interested in your $150 million. Millville is interested in your 300 jobs. They're going to vet you. They're going to make sure that what you say is true, but they're at least going to give you the opportunity to present. Or you're going to say, you know what, we don't want to hear any more. We don't want that opportunity to present. We're not going to let you go before the planning board on the redevelopment plan. We're not going to let you go before the city commission because we're not going to give you the agreement of sale on 200 G Street. It's a legal technicality, but an important one. We cannot move forward with the redevelopment plan that we were asked to prepare by the city of Millville. We cannot move forward with that if we don't have title to 200 G Street. So that's where we are. And you're at a crossroads, it seems to me. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, Mr. Magazoo. Thank you for the
I'd like
presentation.
to ask some questions on this, please.
Yeah.
Okay. This rendition that you just showed us, this is new to the commission?
I'm sorry?
What you just showed us, the production.
Yes.
Is this as a result of our meeting?
It's over the last 6 weeks. Remember, you first said to us,
Mm-hmm.
prove to me that you have a concept, okay? Spent some money.
Exactly.
Prove to me that you have an investor. We brought an investor who made a national press release. This is not just sending an email to me, okay? So yes, that's a direct result of the meetings that we've had and the reasonable requests of this commission over the last 6 weeks.
I'd like to personally share with the public my involvement, especially as of lately with dealing with Mr. DeSantis. You saw the video earlier. It was about a year ago, I believe, when I guess this was introduced. This whole idea. Unfortunately, I had a back-to-school night. I could not stay for the presentation. So with this coming up, I said to myself, I need to find out what this is all about. Over the last couple of weeks since our last meeting, I had an opportunity to speak at length with Mr. DeSantis. I had the opportunity to even speak with the investor, and was confident that he would be able to share this evening. Unfortunately, that didn't occur, that the money is there, is real. The benefits that I see of this program are it's environmentally positive. It helps CCIA as well as all the other improvement authorities within the state to get rid of plastic. The business that Mr. DeSantis is, I don't want to say marrying, if that's the right word, bringing in with Mr. last name? Mr. Feller, works together because the plastic that he's not going to use, Mr. Feller's company could use. It's going to create jobs. I like the ability of the fact that they're going to retain some historical value, as we did when we wanted to make sure when we had the issue of we didn't want to lose Jim's Lunch. Okay, it was a historical building. We saw the value of that and wanted to make sure that that was part of Millville still. It's going to clean up an eyesore. It's going to be participating with other businesses, other ancillary businesses. And now I just learned about a potential police substation. To me, that's another positive thing. Mr. Maggs, you made it clear, to me at least, that we're at a crossroads. And this commission has to make a decision, or I feel I have to make a decision, on where I want to see this potential deal go. I'm sold. Maybe I'm naive. Many hours learning from Mr. DeSantis what his vision was, talking with people, et cetera. I like the idea. I see it as being almost a renaissance of bringing Millville to what it was like when Wheaton was in place. 300 jobs are a lot of jobs. I keep hearing the word if, maybe. I guess business is always a risk. I heard that this evening when we were in closed session. If is always part of everything. I personally am willing to move ahead. I don't know what needs to be done in the sense of if we're going to look to do something this evening, I am willing to. I don't know if the other commission has any questions. I just felt that it was important for me to let the public know where I stand on this potential project.
Any other commissioner like to say something?
We don't have a vote tonight. So
No, it's just a presentation.
I think I just want to reiterate what Commissioner Pepitone is stating here. I spent some time with Anthony myself, as well as Commissioner Pepitone, and got to know a lot about his vision and what he wants to do for the city. And I know every commissioner here, and probably everyone in this room, wants to have economic stability in Millville. And what do you need to have that? You got to have jobs. 300 jobs is substantial. I know there's other communities that are bringing in different businesses, but I haven't heard that number. And that number of jobs in one area, in one city, can make a tremendous change. And I think we're due for that. And so when you talk about a substation, you talk about the different types of recycling, you talk about a lot of the things that are great for this city, and we're ripe for it. So I don't think we need to take this lightly. I think we need to take a really hard look at this and don't throw this away. If this is something that the people and our citizens want, let's take a really hard look at this and not just throw this away.
Mr. Mayor, if I make a comment as well.
Go ahead.
In terms of my perception of this situation in its entirety, I will bring up two highlighted options, two highlighted items that I've noticed. One is the fact that the developer, in this case, has circumvented the department in terms of our supervising planner. Not only that, but our city solicitor, by way of, in this case, enlisting two other commissioners to meet in order to provide this vision, which I might add, this vision has been provided in public. As we've seen on the video, we did have an opportunity to see that vision. That was the vision that was originally presented to the commission, and one that was not in question, I might add. The second, also, in terms of also inspecting whether or not this was an item that was not properly funneled through the department and the department's resources, I would like to extend my gratitude to our city solicitor, Brock Russell, for continuing to stay diligent on this particular topic. Our supervising planner, who, although we have noticed that items have come up with the agenda, we have not seen yet to date a developer who has as aggressively pursued this and with, as I might add, an air of what I would say would resemble intimidation or even a very forward and aggressive manner of bringing this to the commission and pushing an action item that is not even on the agenda. So with those two items and highlighting those, that is something that I, as a resident, one of 5 commissioners who has to vote at every single meeting on the first and third Tuesday for 4 years, to see this production this evening and to not weigh this as something that, if you're looking and you're watching every single meeting, this is not highlighted as being an area of concern, I have to bring that to the public, not only as a resident, but as a commissioner who is sitting in this seat, that we are seeing two very particular scenarios where we see 2 commissioners who, in this case, have received information, have also received what is the perception of the developer in circumventing the department to which this actually pertains. And the fact that we do not see other developers who are planning presentation items week after week. With those 2 items in mind, Mr. Solicitor, Mr. Mayor, I will leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else? No one else? Madam Clerk?
Where are we at?
Item 9.
Public comments.
Okay.
No, you can't say anything else, Anthony. Can't say anything else, Anthony. Okay?
Thank you.
We've now reached the public comments on agenda items only. Anyone that would like to speak on an agenda item, please step up to the mic, state your name and your concerns, and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please.
Joe Sue, East Main Street, Millville, and since that presentation was added to the agenda, I guess it's an agenda item, so I want to speak to it. First of all, you very rarely have a developer that comes in here and buys anything outright before they even make a presentation. He made presentations, but he bought the other part of Wheaton's. Pretty substantial investment. If any of you have been over there to tour that and seen the great amount of work that's being done, it's pretty impressive. Second, get out of the way. Let a developer be a developer. Let business people be business people. You know, you mentioned your planner. I don't know how many multi-million-dollar projects your planner has brought to the town. I haven't seen any. Get over the feeling stuff. You get your feelings hurt. Don't worry about your feelings. Worry about logic. Worry about getting things done. Worry about 300 jobs coming here. Get out of the way and give the guy a chance. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening, Kirk Hewitt, Millville. On the agenda tonight, resolution number 5. This is the old 109 property, I guess, next to Jim's. With this going away, I guess you're getting rid of a lien. Does this take the owner, Mr. White, any all his responsibilities away?
Kirk, if I can answer that, it doesn't. What it does is the lien holder is willing to give up their lien if we let them out of the lawsuit.
Okay,
That's all
so
it is.
we
We're not
still-
paying them a dime.
Okay.
And they're giving up their lien, which would affect title, so it's really pretty hard to turn down that kind of an offer.
So it means we can still get the ground if needs be.
Yeah. Okay. He's losing his rights to the benefit of the city.
Good. Item number 10. This is the solar plant, solar field. The only thing I see here, I mean, I've been searching all over the place. I know it's been a big push. We just discussed about big pushes from the presentation. I mean, the man, Synergy has wanted, it's like every property in town, you know. Me as a resident, I looked at my bill. I pay 6.92 per kilowatt hour. He's offering 0.59, 6 cents. Municipalities and businesses pay a lower rate for their kilowatt hours. What is he giving you any comparison for this figure that he's given? I know he's here. He may be able to answer these questions. Plus, it's going to be a 2% increase every year, annually. It's written into the resolution. I mean, solar seems to be the way to go. I've said that before. I seem to remember last time he was here, there was sort of like a heavy-handed demand made to either do this now or I'm walking away. And then all of a sudden he offered to help with the RFP. Now he's the only man that bid on the RFP. All I'm asking is, was due diligence done? Do any of you know exactly what we pay per kilowatt hour for the municipal? I know we paid a little bit over $35,000 last month for our electric bill. I don't believe there's any of the LED energy-saving streetlights have to do with this. I know another company spoke of that, but Mr. Durst didn't. He said, well, maybe we could do it down the line. Due diligence again. Time for me to ask you again, like I asked you a couple meetings ago, table this resolution, have him give you a presentation other than just standing here against this pole and being heavy-handed, because a few of the presentations were pretty heavy-handed at the end before he left for a while. And then all of a sudden, it was told to us it was going out for RFP, but he even offered to help make the RFP. That's wrong. How can you assist in having an RFP written and then be the only bidder? And I mean, as far as the Millville Plastics go, the only thing I'm going to say there is I can remember, man, the whole state was, we're going to get Amazon. We can get Amazon. Even Millville was going crazy. We could never get Amazon. I mean, let's just face it. This is a strong possibility. Things were circumvented, maybe. Again, circumvention, maybe the commission and the solicitor need to all just get together. Maybe another work session. 20 seconds? 20 seconds? Okay. Maybe another work session to discuss the Millville Plastic, but do it in a work session where sunshine law doesn't affect you, and bring your questions and let the people bring the questions and see what you decide. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have a quick question. Did Mr. Pepitone, did you and Mr. Cooper reach out to him for information, or did he reach out to you?
I'll answer. I personally reached out to him due to the fact that I was not at that meeting.
Okay. And how about you, Mr. Cooper?
I reached out to him as well.
Okay. Did you? I always mess up your
Ms.
name.
Udalvis, that's okay. In terms of what we've had with correspondence with Mr. DeSantis, it's been restricted to what we've had during commission meetings, closed session, work session, or commission, regular meetings, that is.
Right, but you didn't reach out to him to meet with you personally.
I'll be quite honest, I stay very much apprised of all of the different interactions and the correspondences that have gone from legal counsel to legal counsel, which in this case, with it being contract negotiations, was heavily in that area in terms of our legal counsel collaborating, working together, and corresponding with one another. And on that item, I could not comment.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
sure you did. I mean, I know you're very.
There are many emails. There are many different correspondences, and I've stayed apprised of each one.
I'm sure
Yes.
you did. I know you're very thorough. That I'm not questioning that. I'm sure you did. But I think that, you seem, maybe I'm wrong. If I am, I apologize. You seem like you're a little upset that they had private information that at your department you didn't get, which you should have gotten. But maybe not knowing that they reached out to him, and that's why they got that one-on-one instead. So, but I'm not questioning that you're not very up on it. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Anyone else?
Yes, John Dalrymple again regarding the Millville Plastics.
John, your location of your residence?
932 Adams Avenue, Mays Landing.
You can continue, John.
Thank you. I'm not here to take away the project as a whole. I actually embrace the project.
Which project are you talking
The
about?
project that Mr. DeSantis,
Okay.
Mr. Peratt would
Okay.
like to do. In fact, over a year and a half, I was actively involved with them, okay, working on the project. Unfortunately, they had some financial mishaps or whatever else and can't pay all their bills. So, unfortunately, 6 people couldn't make it tonight. Actually, the presentation that was just presented by Mr. DeSantis is something that's not paid for over 1 year, a measly $900. And we're here talking a several $1,000,000 project. My father, sitting over there, has excess of over $140,000 owed by Mr. DeSantis and Mr. Peratt. There are other contractors that are owed money. They all can be here. And it would be nice to have a workshop where we could sit down, because they're talking about spending money and creating jobs and all this wonderful stuff. Well, then, instead of spending money in Brooklyn and bringing food from Brooklyn down, let's spend it at the local catering place here locally. If they want to benefit here truly, then let's use a local designer, a local architect firm, local contractors, and pay them. They talk about a presentation for recycling, something that's proprietary. What is it? This presentation told us nothing. Resins, plastics, I know a little bit about, not in the recycling arena, in another arena. They talk about 300 jobs, if this, that, and the other thing. I do believe the property can handle exactly what they're saying. The rail, the buildings, the property means nothing. G Street would complement and complete a package so that they have the ability to do something on a larger scale. If you do something else and use G Street for something else, I don't see it as beneficial to the town. And even though I have my differences with Mr. DeSantis, and Mr. Peratt has ignored my father and myself, I had to come to a public forum. But I say it again. I believe in the project. I believe in what they're looking to do. But I believe also they need to do the right thing with the local people that have helped them, including that presentation, that I have the invoice right here and I can make it public record. Okay? And again, everybody can be present at a work session. But before the town makes a decision, and I'm not a public speaker and I apologize, I'm all over the place, but I would like a work session and have things worked through systematically. And what they're proposing works for the property. I've spent a good amount of time there, and I know that you sit on that side of the desk. But coming from a construction background, knowing the infrastructure, I know they're working things through right now with the substation, okay? But some of the buildings need some rehab. It's not as cut and dry as they're saying, just a little this, a little that. There's a lot of structural issues with G Street. It's obvious, but I feel we need a work session so that we can try and make everybody a winner. Okay?
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? I close the public portion part of this meeting. On agenda items, old business, please.
There's no old business, Mayor.
Petitions and letters.
There are no petitions and letters.
Reports of commissioners. Commissioner Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And from the Parks Department, in the last 2 weeks, we've cut over 41 properties. I won't name them all, but just a few. Governor Stokes, Senior Center, Columbia Avenue, the soccer fields, Glasstown, Fowler, the Ferris Pond, Shannon Complex, and Lakeside. All park irrigation has been winterized. We'd like to thank Ed Gandy in our department for taking the lead on this project and getting this task completed in a timely manner. Upcoming projects, we have another 30 properties to cut and complete before our last pass of grass cutting for 2019. Dog Park, we had our second meeting last week for the dog park. We're working right now on a design and layout. Upcoming meeting will be announced. Upcoming event, Holly City Walking Club has started every Tuesday and Thursday until May 28th. It's 6:30 to 7:30 at Lakeside Middle School. The Scarecrow Contest. Check out the scarecrows on High Street. Make sure you go on and vote for your favorite scarecrow. The link is posted on Millville's Recreation and Volunteer Committee Facebook group and the city website. The contest will cease October 25th. The next RBC meeting will be held October 16th at 6 p.m. at the Millville Senior Center, 1500 South 2nd Street. We are currently working on planning a winter festival, which will be held Friday, December 13th. Stay tuned for more details. And the Ghost Tour. The Ghost Tour will be held Friday, October 26th on High Street. This year we have a mystery to solve. Who murdered Captain Buck? That's the mystery. We have a layout, a clue game to figure out as well. There will also be games on the plaza and a costume contest for kids and adults at the RRCA. Pumpkin Extravaganza. We'd like to thank Millville Municipal Allowance Committee, the Silver Run PTO, Holly City Development Corporation for partnering with us to make the Pumpkin Extravaganza bigger and better. It will take place at a new location on Pine Street between 2nd and 3rd, right where we do Play Streets, on Saturday, October 26th. There will be games, trunk or treat, costume contest, pumpkin decorating, and more. Come join us for a great time. And also get ready, the Millville Christmas Parade. Put it on your calendar. November 29th will be the annual Christmas Parade. The Millville Chamber of Commerce is currently accepting applications for parade participants. Get your floats ready. There's plenty of time to get your entry together. And with that, Mr. Mayor, moving forward.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Pepitone.
I got to begin by thanking Commissioner Cooper for the enthusiasm that he uses as he makes his presentation. Thank you very much, sir. I am in receipt of both the fire and the police reports for the month of September. I move that they be received and filed. I am going to read the police department.
Second the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
All right, just a second.
She has to say all in favor.
Say all in favor.
No, I have to vote. Okay, so Commissioner Pipitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Now, I was instructed or requested from the public to read the police report, and I will do it this time. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it every time, but I will have copies for people if they want it, because part of me wants to show that our police department is out there working, doing a lot of things. Part of me is like, do we want to say this? But I guess it is what it is. For the month of September, we had 29 arrests, 15 traffic summons, 2 city ordinance investigations, 3 warrant arrests, distribution of CDSs, 7, weapon possession, 1, drug possession of drug paraphernalia, 7, obstruction, resistance, disorderly, 4, prostitution, 7, drug seizures, suspected heroin, suspected crack cocaine, suspected marijuana, and suspected methamphetamines. Search warrant executions, a total of 2. 3 search warrants were executed during the month of September, 1 on a vehicle and 2 on residents in the city of Millville. These warrants were executed in regards to narcotics investigations. Prostitution sting. During the month of September, the Crime Prevention Unit conducted a prostitution sting utilizing undercover officers. These operations netted a total of 7 arrests and 1 search warrant executed on a vehicle. Other police stats. 191 total arrests were made. There was 317 motor vehicle stops were conducted. An issue of 379 motor vehicle summonses, 82 investigated motor vehicle accidents, 40 pedestrian stops conducted, 64 property checks conducted, investigated 114 alarms, 152 suspicious circumstances, 128 motor vehicle citizens complaints, 85 checked the well-being, 92 animal complaints, 86 domestic violence incidents, 90 harassments, 29 shoplifting, 70 unwanted persons, 46 burglaries, 67 assisted medical agencies, 25 parking offenses, 27 juvenile complaints, 55 noise complaints, 69 thefts, 10 traffic hazards, 23 TRO services, 19 fights, 41 civil matters, 25 psychological calls, 26 criminal mischief calls, 34 assist other agencies, and 7 total shots fired, 3 confirmed by incidents. Some exciting news. We started the Neighborhood Crime Prevention Unit, and since its beginning, they've seized 12 firearms from June to August and executed 11 search warrants on houses and vehicles related to narcotics or weapons. The weapons seized include the following: AR-15 assault rifle with 30-round magazines, SKS assault rifle with 30-round magazine, M4 style assault rifle with 25-round magazine, a 32 caliber revolver, 22 caliber rifle, 12-gauge shotgun, 308 caliber rifle, 9mm semi-automatic handgun, and 15-round magazine, 38 caliber revolver, 32 caliber revolver, and 2 muzzle loader rifles. Our department has been very busy. I'm reading this. I don't think I'm going to do it in the future. I'll have copies up here for people to pick up if they want. I don't know how you guys feel about that. But it was requested by me. I specifically said I would do it. From now on, I'll have copies ready for people who here would like to pick them up. With that, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Udalvis?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In regard to the October 7th meeting of the Planning Board, Chairman Gallagher announced correspondence provided by the Cumberland County Department of Planning that requests time during the public meeting of the Planning Board on Tuesday, November 12th, to present and garner input from the Planning Board members regarding the Cumberland County Farmland Preservation Plan. Seeking to ascertain whether the plan continues to reflect municipal interests, the County Planning Department will present updated mapping and request feedback. In regard to action and approvals by the Planning Board, Resolution Number 12-2019 granting redivision approval in an Air Park Industry Zone was memorialized. Additionally, in Application 6.1, requesting a minor redivision of lots in an R40 residential area was approved. As stated through the work session report, in providing an update to the Neighborhood Preservation Program grant, also known as the NPP grant, reinstated by the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs in 2019, the Department of Public Affairs, and specifically the Planning Department, announces an upcoming resolution at the November 6th meeting of the Board of Commissioners to formalize the grant implementation consultant as Holly City Development Corporation. As the Board of Commissioners and the public may recall from the April 2nd meeting, the Department presented an explanation of a resolution item approving a Memorandum of Understanding Agreement between the City of Millville and the Holly City Development Corporation to perform grant writing services in connection with the NJ Department of Community Affairs 2019 Neighborhood Preservation Program grant application in an amount not to exceed $2,500. As announced during the July 2nd meeting of the Board, utilizing data from neighborhood planning through the Wells Fargo Steering Committee and Center City Neighborhood Revitalization Plan, Holly City Development Corporation and the City of Millville successfully demonstrated a commitment to public and private partnership in neighborhood revitalization through the application process and were awarded a funding amount of $125,000 by the DCA for purpose of developing and implementing a 5-year strategic action plan focused on community revitalization in the Center City neighborhood through December 31st, 2020. The Planning Department and our City Solicitor will present a resolution for the Wednesday, November 6th meeting of the Commission in order to facilitate the proximal stages of grant implementation alongside Holly City Development Corporation. Expectations for the grant include utilizing $100,000 of the awarded grant to create a visual impact and improvement during year 1 of the grant cycle within the boundary of the focus area, which encompasses the NRTC or Neighborhood Revitalization Tax Credit Zone. And with the conclusion of this report, Mr. Mayor, progress.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner, can you do the Vice Mayor's report also?
Yeah, you want me to do it?
Can you do it?
Yeah, I'll put that through.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to submit the tax collector's report for the month of September 2019. Will be received and filed.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Eudalovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
And
Nothing
motion
else.
carries.
Thank you. I have a report here from Streets and Roads and our manager, Wayne Gressman. There were 258 street sweeping tickets issued. Our street sweeper, as you know, is back on the road. 88 tires were collected, 6 appliances collected, 5,307 bags of loose leaves and grass clippings were collected. 281 tons of brush was collected. All windows of loose leaves have been screened and hauled away from our compost facility. Catch basins repair on North 3rd Street completed. Sinkhole repair on 900 block of Mulberry Street completed. Road repair at Geisel Drive and Allen Court completed. Replacement of 60 feet of storm drain pipe at Isabel and Pleasant Drive completed. All side roads along Buckshootum Road and Laurel Lake have been cut back. Curb painting in our downtown is completed. And Streets and Roads will now be prepping our equipment for loose leaves season, which begins November 1st. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact our Streets and Roads Department at 825-7000, extension 7390.
Mr. Mayor?
I'm sorry.
I move to receive and file the Streets and Roads report for the month of September 2019.
Second motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Eudalovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay,
And
motion
I want to add this. We're getting a lot of calls of a lot of sinkholes and potholes, and we're trying to get to them. We received 5 or 6 today. We know that there's some incoming rain coming, so just be patient. We're going to get out there as fast as we can so that we can take care of those potholes. Thank you. Can we go on ordinances on first reading?
On second reading.
Second reading, I'm sorry.
Okay, we have an ordinance authorizing amendment to Motor Vehicle and Traffic Regulations Municipal Code, Article 10, Schedule 21, to add parking reserved for handicapped persons at 204 North 7th Street.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this proposed ordinance on second and final reading.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
We have to have a public hearing.
Public hearing. I'm really losing it now. Anyone that has any comments concerning this ordinance on second reading on Motor Vehicle and Traffic Regulations Code for handicapped parking, please step up to the mic. State your name and your concerns and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Seeing no one, I close ordinance number 1 on Motor Vehicle Traffic Regulations. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Ordinances on first reading.
We have no ordinances on first reading, Mayor.
Resolutions.
Okay, we have a resolution authorizing award of professional service contract pursuant to a non-fair and open process with Rue Associates Incorporated to prepare the City of Millville's annual report for polychlorinated biphenyl pollutant minimization plan and an amount not to exceed $6,500 for a one-year term.
Mr. Mayor, with that, I have certification of availability of funds from our Chief Financial Officer, Marcella Shepard, in the amount of $6,500, and I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second the motion.
Certification of funds?
She mentioned
Yes.
that.
Have it? Okay, very good. Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 2 is a resolution authorizing extension of contract with Arisco Enterprises for the project known as Street Patching and Utility Opening Repairs for one additional year, with term ending October 15, 2020, and an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Mr. Mayor, with that, I have a certification of availability of funds from Chief Financial Officer Marcella Shepard in the total amount of $14,425.20, and I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second the motion.
For the clarification, the remainder comes out of the 2020 budget, correct? Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
Second the motion.
Any comments?
I have
Roll
a
call.
comment.
Go ahead.
I just have a question. Do we know specifically where they're going to be doing this patching and repairs at?
Well, there's several different locations that we have. Today, we were on the south side of Millville doing it. It all depends when the complaints come in. We're trying to hit them as fast as we can. Other than that, they're going to be going out to different areas that they've located and patching those.
Commissioner, this is basically an ongoing contract we usually always have, so we have the availability to have the patching done.
So we have
When we
the
bid
material.
it, and when we bid it in 2 one-year terms. So we bid it last year. This is the extension of the second year, and then next year we'll bid it again. But we always have an ongoing patch, so we have a way to buy it, and Briscoe goes out and does the work.
And so it is mainly for patchwork then? So
Yes.
if residents make a call.
If not, we have people going out as they're out working. All the employees are looking for it, and then they call in.
You hear that, residents? Make those calls.
Trust me, I got the calls.
You want to get the patchwork done, make the calls.
Anything else, Commissioner?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing adjustments in the tax and utility records.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 4 is a resolution authorizing special assessment of municipal liens for certain properties due to expenses incurred by the City of Millville relating to board and secure, plus administrative fees in accordance with Chapter 11, Article 1, subsection 11-6 of the Municipal Code.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 5 is a resolution authorizing mutual release and settlement agreement between the City of Millville and Clarendon National Insurance Company regarding their judgment lien in the amount of $6,338.96 against Matthew White Sr., who is owner of record of 109 East Main Street.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments?
I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Solicitor, could you shed some light on this, some clarity for me?
Well, the party has a judgment lien against Mr. White, so that lien is a lien against the property. And when the action was filed against Mr. White, it also named all the persons holding liens. And so the company contacted me and were willing to give us a warrant of satisfaction, which erases the lien. We have a huge judgment against the property. Basically, it allows our judgment to go ahead of his lien, even though his lien was recorded before our judgment was. And we're not paying him anything. He's just basically giving it up.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Great job, Solicitor. We appreciate it. Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 6 is a resolution authorizing Third Amendment to lease between the Millville Public Library and the City of Millville for the purpose of adding city-owned lots 3, 4, and 4.01 in Block 410 in order to accommodate the library's new expansion project.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
I have a comment.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to thank all the commissioners for realizing how important the library is to our city and what it's going to bring to the residents. And it's going to be a great project once it's finished. I just want to thank you all for your support.
Great job. Anyone else? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 7 is a resolution declaring that the City of Millville intends to issue a bond of up to $771,250, contingent upon the library obtaining a grant pursuant to the New Jersey Library Construction Bond Act, Public Law 2017, Chapter 149.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second the motion?
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 8 is a resolution authorizing special assessment of municipal liens for certain properties due to expenses incurred by the City of Millville relating to cut and clean plus administrative fees in accordance with Chapter 11, Article 6 of the Municipal Code.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 9 is a resolution authorizing the City of Millville to enter into a 25-year land lease agreement with Synergy LLC to lease a 4.59-acre part of Block 136, Lot 1 for the purpose of designing, constructing, and operating a solar photovoltaic system to be a permitted use and otherwise consistent with the James R. Hurley Redevelopment District for an annual payment in the amount of $22,950.
Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second the motion? Oh, sorry.
Mr. Mayor, I would also make a motion that the City Commission table the resolution to enter into the land lease agreement with Synergy LLC. And if I can explain some of the items why in discussing this with our city administrator, it would make it clear why to halt at the land lease agreement rather than to wait until the power purchase agreement, if I may.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. On the grounds that this lease also carries with it the obligation of the city to subscribe to the solar services through the agreement as drafted by our city solicitor that was based upon the only proposal submitted and received through an RFP process for solar, I ask that the Commission consider tabling this, as the Commission would be able to, in this case, looking at the land lease agreement, noticing that there is a 2% annual escalator, which is fairly steep in comparison to some of the other RFPs that we may have received in the past. I would recommend that the city solicitor and the Commission make a motion to table and draft a stipulation with the city solicitor to recommend an escalation of the annual lease amount to reflect the 2% annual escalator that the city is subject to through the agreement. Additionally, while the proposal that has not been reviewed and summarized into a report formed by a third party or our city's engineering departments to effectively understand how the savings will impact last year's approximately $657,000 expenditures in energy costs for street lighting, or the approximate $476,200 costs in electric for remaining utility costs for the city, the Department of Planning and Economic Development may utilize a shared services agreement with the CCIA for redevelopment legal counsel services in order to provide additional insight into the city's procedures for leasing for redevelopment initiatives, to which the city would be subscribing to itself, which alters the redevelopment model for other solar initiatives that do not require that the city act as a subscriber. As stated previously, our CFO reports that this agreement will require a certification of availability of funds in the amount of $76,700 for year one with Synergy LLC, and it would be advised that the city learn additional information about how this fixed amount will reduce the costs exactly from either the street lighting item or the additional utilities before finalizing the agreement by resolution. The context of this agreement being a redevelopment initiative is complicated by the idea that the city will also act as a subscriber to the solar source. And I would hope to ascertain that the city navigate this item carefully, seeing as how the approval of the award of purchase power agreement to Synergy LLC and resolution item 10 binds the city to a solar subscription as a result from the land leases approvals also. As stated in the RFP, Synergy will make an application to Atlantic City Electric. One of my questions is, will there be a chance that the street lighting application would not be approved for Synergy to proceed with the LED lighting? Also, as discussed previously, the 2% annual escalator that has been discussed by our Economic Development Department as being an area for focus of negotiation for the land lease agreement. With those items in mind, I would make a recommendation for the City Commission to consider tabling the motion until we could provide further insight from our redevelopment council and or find from our city solicitor how the 2% annual escalator will affect us over the 25-year lease.
Anyone else?
They need a motion to table.
I make a motion to
There's
table.
a motion to table on the floor.
Yeah.
Is there a
Need
second? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right.
Just get it on the
We have a
vote.
motion and a second to table item number 9. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Pepitone?
No.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
No.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
The motion to table carries.
Yes, motion to table item number 9. Is that correct, Commissioner? Number 9?
This is for resolution item number 9, yes.
Okay, very good. Madam Clerk?
Okay, item 10 is a resolution authorizing the award of a power purchase agreement with Synergy LLC to install, operate, and maintain a solar photovoltaic system that will supply a minimum of 1,300,000 kilowatt hours to various city meters over a 25-year period at a cost of 59 cents per kilowatt hour with an annual escalation of 2%.
Mr. Mayor, once again, I would refer to comment pertaining to resolution item 9. Do you have a comment, Madam Administrator, that you'd like to add to the
She had said 59 cents. It's 0.059.
0.059?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Yeah,
just wanted
excuse
to
me.
make sure it's clear.
I would make a motion contingent upon, once again, resolution item number 9 to table resolution item number 10.
Is there a second? I'll second it.
I'll second the motion.
Done.
You can't second.
Roll call?
Get it on the floor.
Okay. Commissioner Pepitone?
No.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
No.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, so the motion to table
Both 9 and 10, correct?
for, yeah, exactly, 9 and 10.
Thank you.
Okay, so tabled to the next meeting on
Yes.
November the 6th, correct?
November 6th?
Wednesday,
Yep.
November 6th.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, number 11 is a resolution authorizing the purchase of a used 2017 Ford Explorer from State Surplus Auto Sales, Newark, New Jersey, through state contract in the amount of $16,900.
I move for the passage of this resolution.
Second the motion?
With that, do I have certification of funds?
We should have certification.
With that, I have certification of funds from Marcella Seppard, Chief Financial Officer, in the amount of $16,900. And with that, I move to pass the resolution.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 12 is a resolution authorizing an additional item of revenue in the calendar year 2019 budget, which is now available as revenue from the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, Division of Highway Traffic Safety Drunk Driving Enforcement Fund, in the amount of $18,336.07.
I move for the passage of this resolution.
Second the motion?
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 13 is a resolution authorizing the City of Millville to participate in the Employee Prescription Drug Program provided by the New Jersey State Health Benefits Act with coverage as of November 1st, 2019 or soon thereafter.
Mr. Mayor, prior to issuing the certification of availability of funds and a motion for approval, I will defer to our city administrator to provide some of the context regarding resolution item 13.
Madam?
Each year around this time, we get quotes for the next year. We have been with Benacard prescription plan, and the quotes came in this year. They did come in static. They were the same, but the state prescription plan has gone down considerably. So I reviewed the census that we have and the number of employees insured as family, single. And the cost of the prescription plan under Benacard would be approximately $739,000. If we were to move over to the state health prescription plan, the cost goes down to $575,000, which is a savings of about $160,000. some of that's the employee contribution because employees contribute, and some of the biggest portion of it will be the city. I would say 75 to 80% the city will save. In looking at the state plan, our contracts are all written that they presently have $10 and $20 copays, and we have reserved the right in every contract to be able to go back to the state health prescription plan. The good upside of this is that the employees will go back to the state health. Their copays will go from $10 for generic down to $3, and for preferred from $20 down to $7. In addition to that, the state just passed a resolution, I think the beginning of November, to incentivize employees to use the mail order plan. If they use the mail order, they will get a 90-day supply for $0.
Wow.
So it's a plus for the employees. Their contribution will go down. I had the labor attorney review all 5 contracts to make sure the city was within their rights. I did not notify 4 of the unions till I was sure it passed the commission. 1 contract, the PBA contract, required me to notify them prior to the resolution. I spoke with them this afternoon. They did have a representative from the SOA with them too, and they seemed to be in favor of what we were going to do. So I will notify the other unions based on the decision made by you commissioners tomorrow.
Very good. Anything else, Commissioner?
If I can clarify the certification of availability of funds, it is to certify that the Board of Commissioners of the City of Millville that the funds for the following resolutions will not be available until the 2020 budget is approved. Amounts for future years are contingent upon sufficient funds being appropriated. And with certification of availability of funds in the amount of $600,000 for current insurance prescriptions, $60,000 for water prescriptions, $81,000 for sewer prescriptions. Mr. Mayor, with the availability of funds issued by CFO Marcella Shepard, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 14 is a resolution appointing Agriterra LLC as conditional redeveloper and authorizing a purchase and sale agreement between the City of Millville and Agriterra LLC for the City of Millville to sell a portion of real property located at 501 Bogdan Boulevard, Block 125.03, Lot 11, consisting of approximately 44 acres of land in the amount of $550,000 to Agriterra LLC.
Mr. Mayor, with a brief comment regarding and congratulating our Department of Public Affairs and our supervising planner for having proceeded with this resolution item and our city solicitor, Brock Russell, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
I have a question.
Yes.
Second the motion.
Can I question before? Okay. I just wanted to know a little bit more about this project. If there's any light the city planner can shed on
Sam,
that.
can you go to the mic?
Would it be possible to use the microphone? Yes.
Yeah, I can slide over. I think the city would love to know.
This project is in the same location where the City Commission discussed with the previous food processor. We've done the amendment to the redevelopment plan, so the food processing use is allowed. And this food processor basically wants to step right into that same development proposal that we've discussed before. So this is the first step so we can start the due diligence process with the new developer.
That's not the same was that Rovignati? Was that the same?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
the one that
Same
we
property.
lost because we
Same
didn't have a
property.
pre-treatment, and then we were
Are you
fortunate to
able to-
find someone, and they are willing to pre-treat.
Are you?
That was my next question.
That was our biggest hang-up was the pre-treatment, and this company has put in the contract they will be installing their own pre-treatment system on site.
When you say food processing, can you tell us what it is?
Meat.
Meatballs.
Meat.
Meats?
Not
Meatballs?
meatballs, but
Okay.
like a meat product.
Meat product?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Similar to, I guess,
Yeah.
very similar to Rovignati.
Very
Yes.
similar, and that's,
But
I think,
they're
our...
doing their own pre-treatment.
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Saves us a lot of money.
Yes.
Great job. Thank you.
Good job, Sam.
With that, I second the motion.
All right. Anybody? Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
New business.
Mr. Mayor, we have a motion to authorize special event on public lands applications. Greater Millville Chamber of Commerce to hold an annual Christmas parade on Friday, November 29th, 2019, starting at 7 p.m. on High Street, pending appropriate approvals.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to authorize the city clerk to advertise for requests for proposals for professional occupational health services, with said proposals to be returned to the City of Millville purchasing agent, 12 South High Street, Millville, New Jersey, on October 29th, 2019, no later than 10 o'clock a.m.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to authorize the city clerk to advertise for bids for calendar year 2019-2020 work uniforms, with said proposals to be received by the purchasing board on November 5th, 2019 at 10 o'clock a.m. in the Richard C. McCarthy Commission Chamber of City Hall.
Second the motion.
Any comments? Roll call.
Commissioner Pepitone?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Parent?
Yes.
Commissioner Udalvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Santiago?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. We've now reached the public comment portion of our meeting. Anyone would like to address this commission, please go to the podium, state your name and your address, and address your concerns, and please limit your comments to 5 minutes.
Ethan Aronoff, 2110 East Main Street. Before I begin some brief remarks, I want to clarify something. I came in here and somebody said, I voted for you. I said, I haven't run since 1980. They said, oh, I thought you were one of the scarecrows. I can go anywhere. But Mr. Mayor,
You're here all week.
are you voting for me?
That's good.
Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, City Solicitor, Clerk, Administrator, I thank you all for your consideration of our two resolutions pertaining to the library. The library has been in business, and it's been in operation, I believe, continuously for 155 years. And what you're doing with these resolutions is putting us to the next 155 years. We don't have to worry about it. We're not going to be here to see that. But we're hoping that's the case. I also don't want to forget to thank two board members and a Millville Public Library, Friends of the Library, for attending, along with our library director this evening. And we are very hopeful of this project. We've been working on it for 6 years, and you guys are helping us immensely, because you'll be helping us match, hopefully to maximize our match with a state bond that passed in 2017, which was the Library Construction Act, Bond Act. And we're hoping to present our application. We haven't yet found out when they're going to begin accepting applications. I guess they're still working on the form. But we'll be getting that in as soon as we can, and at that time we're hoping we'll have our public hearings and proceed working with you guys and the CCIA. And of course, we have a great staff. We have great volunteers. And also we have about 200 people who have donated funds to this capital campaign that we've been working on for about 6 years. So 3 of those years have been waiting for the state bond to be written, to be put on a referendum, to be voted upon, and now they're finalizing, our understanding is, the regulations pertaining to it. So with great thanks to you all and to all the people who have supported the library over the years. The City Commission all the city commissions have been very helpful to the library, because a large part of our operating expenses are from the city. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, Mr. Erdoff.
Thank you for all your hard work on that, Ethan.
Yeah.
I brought my consultants. I'm back. I'd like to say a couple things. First of all, at no time did anyone here ever mean any disrespect to anybody at the commission.
what we'd like to do is just portray our message and to explain, because there's been a lot of misconception, misnomers out there. So, at your discretion, you know, I've offered this in the past at all my meetings. I'll offer it again today. You know, Commissioner Pepitone, Commissioner Cooper came, studied, put him on a conference call with the president of the company that's looking to come in. Mayor Santiago, I have a great deal of respect for you. You know, we have a similar understanding. And I'd like to offer you and Commissioner Yudalowicz and Commissioner Parent the same understanding and the same respect, because I think it's important that you get to see what we're doing firsthand. You know, I have my family here with me today. I mean, they just happened to come up. They knew I was here. They had dance. But in
She said homework.
and homework.
Still didn't do it.
You see, now she's in
Anthony, it's your
trouble.
mic.
But we've lived for the past year and a half at the Hampton Inn and the Wingate Hotel. Recently, we obtained a residence and made this our official place. So, I mean, if that, commissioners, doesn't show you dedication and commitment, I don't know what else to do. I mean, to uproot your family from, you know, a place where everyone is comfortable to come here and start a new life with a new vision is a commitment on my part. And two things I'd like to leave this podium tonight. Number one, I'd like for you, at your convenience, to contact me, and I would like, obviously the sunshine law applies and whatnot, but I would like for you 2 or 3 to come out there, or 5 of you, doesn't make a difference, and actually see what we're doing and understanding the project a little bit more. I'd like to invite you to the landfill where Jerry Velasquez has an issue removing his waste. I bumped into him last week, and he said he would love for me to take his waste, you know, his recyclables, even offering to pay us $20 a ton. And the other thing I'd like to do is, again, if you'd like to do it this evening or another day at your convenience, and as long as they're available and they're okay with it, I'm transparent. You can speak to the group, to the president of the corporation, and, I mean, don't scare him away, but have a nice conversation and ask him any and all questions you'd like. You know, just like I did with the other commissioners. You know, I welcome you to do it at my home. I'll come to your office. We'll do it at Wheaton. You know, I'd like to show you that I'm a team player. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank all of
DeSantis,
you.
and your family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Say thank you.
I just wanted to add one little thing. On Friday...
Name, location, address. Thank you.
Robert Feller, Freeport, Maine, Green Envirotech Holdings.
Thank you.
I'm the keynote speaker this coming Friday at the Organization of Municipal Recycling Agents, or some association similar to that, up in Lyndhurst. And this meeting, I'm going to be addressing all 21 county recycling coordinators. And I've already put the word out. I didn't tell them the exact location because it was a trade-off between Wharton and Dover and Millville. But the word's out, and I can tell you that this has the potential to be on the front cover of Forbes magazine, Time, Newsweek, you name it, because our intentions, and I'm only speaking for my company, our intentions are to make this the absolute best of the best. So I just wanted to let you know that all intentions are good. I understand there was a little screw up. As I said earlier, I fall on my sword for miscommunication, but we're trying to do the best that we can with Mr. DeSantis to turn this around, to make this the place where everybody knows there's a good job, good place to live, good place to grow up.
Thank you, Mr. Feller.
Good evening, everyone. Natalie Tyson, Dream Builders Empowerment Network, here in Millville. As one of my commitments whenever I'm here to share some food for the soul, today I'm just going to touch on the law of relativity. You know, we hear about the universal laws, and most times we just hear about the law of attraction. You know, but there's so many more that's very important for us. And the law of relativity states that each person will receive a series of problems or tests of initiations. The purpose of every test or challenge in life is to strengthen the light within. These tests or challenges, we must remain connected with our hearts. We cannot lose ourselves, our hearts, in the processes of life. When we compare our problems with other people's problems, we have to keep it in context. But one thing that is always encouraging is, as bad as our situations or challenges may be in life, we can always say it could have been worse. All right? It could always be worse. There's always going to be somebody with a better situation and somebody else with a worse situation. But in so doing, everything in life is just is until we put a value to it. So as we go through, it depends on our perspective, how we view things. When we focus on good thoughts and good energies, more good things will come to us. Again, when we focus our thoughts and our energies on good things, more good things will come to us. I stand here today with two things really quickly. My condolences to the family of Bertha, who passed this week. I did not even know she was in a hospital. It was kind of very emotional. Anyway, but, you know, God rest her soul and comfort her family, and to all who knew her, God bless her. And also, I came here today, and this is my very first time seeing the Green Enviro Tech Holdings presentation. I heard mention of it before, but never seen it. And for me, I'm really excited at the prospects of seeing the face of the center of Millville changing. I think it's an awesome opportunity. The thought of retaining some of the historical site, maintaining or preserving some of what Millville has represented over the years, to change the face of the town, and the fact of job creation and progress. You know, it's my thought, and I know a lot of people agree with this, that Millville has the potential to be a world-class city. And I know I am repeating after someone else who had said that. And any opportunity we have to bring jobs and to change what things look like should be embraced. And also, the more we think about progress, the more we think about good things, more opportunity is going to come. And I honestly believe that in a few years from now, Millville will be much more like what we dream about. I hear the report also about Commissioner Pepitone, and all these things happening in Millville, really? But we don't focus on those. We know they exist. But again, we say the more good we think about, the more good we attract. The more good we attract, the better the place will be. God bless you, strengthen you, give you wisdom in making all your decisions on behalf of this city. Thank you.
Natalie.
Betty Montleone, Millville. I'm just curious. I have a question first. Are you ever going to do anything with Jim's lunch with those poles? I know you'll answer me after the meeting, so I'm going to be stupid and stand here and wait for an answer. Okay. Now, my next thing is, I don't know if any of you pay attention. Pay attention. This is important. I don't know if any of you saw today's paper. It's addressing the lead and the water lines in municipalities, just like us. Because all of our lines are old and they're lead, you're going to have to replace them. And they're not hasn't passed, but they're thinking about putting $500 million in a fund to help pay for doing this in New Jersey and municipalities. But that's not even going to be enough. It's just a drop in the bucket to what they're going to need. So you're going to have to do that coming up. I think it would be wise to start planning now where you're going to get the money to do this. They even are thinking about requiring the municipalities to do the lines in the homes, too, which would be additional cost. It was like a 2-page article in today's paper. And if you didn't read it, I would suggest you do. I know for years, and you still do it, you take the money, the surplus, but the water and sewer, and you put it in the regular budget. I don't know how you're going to keep doing that and pay for the expenses that you're going to have to pay for with the water and sewer. And it's really not a fair, it's sort of tax without representation. Not everybody in Millville has water and sewer. So we pay all those bills that other people don't pay, and then you take the money that we pay and offset the tax budget. So I've said for years I think this is very unfair, but nothing changes. But the other thing is, you need to start, I don't know whose department that is, but you've got so many people in this city that do not have their lines hooked up. They're paying the minimum. They got the greenest grass in the whole town because they sprinkle their yards, and that's not hooked up to the meter. I had a neighbor went 3 years. He had a beautiful, most beautiful yard in the neighborhood. Blew his leaves with his power washer rather than rake them. Fish, koi ponds, everything. He had disconnected the automatic reader outside. The inside meter kept going, but the reader would come by and it was disconnected. So when he sold his house, he hadn't paid a water bill except the minimum in all those years. You got a lot of that going on, so you need to start looking at the water and sewer to see who is paying their fair share. Now, I'm feeling better than I was. And Nosy Me is going to start opening water bills to see, because I need that to prove that people tell me about people that they know who are your upper people that you would not suspect that are doing this. So fair warning, anybody out there doing it, I just might come looking, whether you like it or not. It wouldn't be the first time, would it, Mr. Parra? Thank you.
Thank you, Betty.
Good evening, Angeline Broomhall, Millville. Mr. Parent, at the last commission meeting, you responded to a constituent of High Street and said, quote, "There has not been one person robbed, not one person beat up, no problems that we had on High Street at all by the public." Now, someone can laugh, you can laugh, but to my knowledge, no one has been beat up, no one has been robbed, no one has been shot, and all the people that come to the Lavoie Theater, where do you think they park? They park over on Pine. They park by the library. They don't get out of there until 11 o'clock at night. I don't know of anyone that's been beat up or robbed or their cars broken into. You know, I'm just letting you know that. If I'm wrong, fine, get a police report. End quote. Well, sir, I did get a police report, and it was determined that that was a lie. The police report determined that there have been 2,425 calls for police service in that area alone since you've taken office 22 months ago. And I'll repeat that number. 2,425 calls for police services from Main to Broad and from Buck to 2nd within that one block either way around the main section of High Street. Most of those calls, more calls came from High Street than any other street. Statistically speaking, you're more likely to be a victim of a crime on High Street than on 2nd Street since you've taken office. I know you had mentioned that once before, Mr. Cooper, that you as a police officer don't feel safe driving on 2nd Street. Maybe it's High Street that you should be worried about. Since I only have 5 minutes, I can't read off each crime. Just some of the calls include harassments, thefts, frauds, burglaries, many of them to vehicles, Mr. Parent, overdoses, drug possessions, fights, simple assaults, aggravated assaults, criminal trespass, and yes, robberies, sexual assaults, shots fired confirmed. My report doesn't show if there was a victim or not, but it wasn't for the lack of trying. Hell, a whole damn car was stolen. We were lectured last week about treating each other with respect, and that requires some reciprocation. I can understand and appreciate that you don't want to advertise the crime problem in Millville. However, to lie and to mislead the public is doing a disservice to the residents and visitors of Millville. And once again, you dismiss the concerns of Millville residents and business owners, a recurring theme of this commission, especially by you, Mr. Parent, as you haven't even looked at me once this whole time I'm speaking. Do you think that we should believe your lies over our own experiences? Do you think that if you tell us good things are coming that we'll eventually believe them despite things getting worse? You're saying that we're safe doesn't make it so. Lying to your constituents doesn't make us trust you or make us feel safe. As a matter of fact, according to the most recent FBI uniform crime report, New Jersey has an overall violent crime rate that's less than half the national average. However, Millville comes in as the least safe municipality in New Jersey. It's the only city in the state with a property crime rate higher than the national average. Yay, we made it to number 1. Mr. Parent, your Machiavellian ways do not serve this community well. And the day will come when you will have to atone for your iniquities. I watched how painful that was for you to read that report, Mr. Pepitone. That report used to be attached to every agenda and read off every week by Mayor Santiago. I watched you, Mr. Parent, cringe as he read it. These are facts, And again, I understand you don't want to plaster it on the front page of the paper, but clearly you're in denial or don't understand or have no clue what's going on in this community. None of you live in the areas. Imagine, as painful it was to listen to it, imagine what it's like to live it and then to come here and share your concerns only to have the vice mayor dismiss you and tell you you're wrong. 2,425 calls in that area since you took those seats 22 months ago. And then you have the nerve to tell a business owner who's investing in our town, oh, it's safe. It's fine. It's okay. It's not okay. You went around knocking door to door saying, I hear you. Crime, we're going to work on it, we're going to work on it, we're going to work on it, we're going to work on it. But then when somebody comes and tells you, you tell them that they're fibbing, that they don't know what they're seeing, they don't know their experiences. That's your problem. People in this town have experiences and have knowledge, whether it's their life experience, their educational experience, their work experience. And it is very valuable to help you make the decisions as what's best for us. But instead, you want to play Mr. Machiavelli and say, oh, yes, sir. It's not that way. I know better. You don't know better, clearly. 2,425 calls since you've taken office just in the High Street area.
Thank you, Angelina. Anyone else? I close the public comment portion of this meeting. Comments of commissioners. Commissioner Cooper.
Wait, I think we have another comment.
No, we don't. It's been closed.
Okay,
It's been closed.
Okay.
It's closed, sir. You had the opportunity. Commissioner Cooper?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if I have the opportunity right now to ask our solicitor, so where do we go next with the G Street property or Commissioner Udalowicz? Where do we go now after we've seen this presentation?
Well, I think that's up to the commission. I don't know if the developer wants to provide more information. I don't know if the commission needs more information. I guess that's for all of you to decide.
Now, I know that we had reached a consensus at the end of our closed session, and if it's okay to impart that, Madam Clerk, that we are going to proceed through the department with our redevelopment council, and it was discussed that in order to make sure that we were covering that base, that we would reach out to redevelopment council through our technical assistance through CCIA in order to further pursue this.
That's right. And redevelopment council was going to be here tonight, but was unable to because he had another commitment.
Very good.
I just want to make sure we were all clear on that. I'm sure Mr. DeSantis wants to know as well. First of all, I want to say thank you for the presentation tonight, Mr. DeSantis and your associates. I think it shed a light to the public on your vision and what you want to do to help our economic situation in Millville. So I thank you for that and for your attorney as well, and to your family for coming out. Always good to see your family come and support. I just want to say it's not easy. The whole process of bringing in new business, bringing in more ratables, it's not easy. It's a continuous assessment that we as commissioners, you as the public, you go through this daily. So I'd like to ask you to let us know what you feel. Let us know what you feel. We don't really hear that a lot. And this is a major decision that we would like to hear more from the public. I know I would, and I think the commissioners would not refute that. I would like to hear more about how you feel about the whole investment, the redevelopment of that property, because we know we have to do something about it. It's been 6 years, 7 years, still going in the same vein. So I think we're getting closer to a solution, but I would like to hear more. If it's emails, if it's whatever you want, just to contact us. Let us know more about how you feel. I had a chance to speak, and one thing that I was skeptical about, I must say, was the financials with the whole project. And I had a chance to speak to Mr. De Laurentiis from Envirotech. We had a good conversation. I felt a lot better about the funding and how that process is going to work. And I must say, before that phone call, I didn't feel as warm and fuzzy. But I do feel a lot better about that. And so I thank you for that, giving me that opportunity. And I'm sure that's open for everyone here as well. You know, when we talk about this property, we talk about new business, we talk about new ideas, and again, it's not easy. But just bear with us and hang in there, because we are trying to do the best that we can and provide for you with this economic jolt if it comes to fruition. I just want to say another thing, too, just to pivot a little bit. This month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That was a hell of a pivot, right? So it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. 280,000 people will be diagnosed this year. Breast cancer accounts for 15% of all new cancer cases. If you haven't got a checkup, a mammogram, please do so. I know we all know someone that has been affected by it. I wouldn't want it to be anyone in this room if you haven't taken the opportunity to get that checkup. I want to leave you with a quote for this evening. And it's a quote about us moving forward. You see me say moving forward. We always want to move forward. No matter what we go through, no matter how we disagree, we still want to move forward. And the quote goes, "Only when you have stepped outside of yourself, outside of your comfort zone, is where you begin to change and transform." It's not comfortable listening to us go back and forth on this same situation that we feel is advantageous. But we're outside of our comfort zone. Everything's new. The solar's new. G Street properties are new. It's all new, and we're outside of our comfort zone. And it's not easy. Hang in there with us. We'll get it done for you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome, Commissioner. Commissioner Pepitone.
First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. DeSantis for the presentation, for the opportunity over the last couple of weeks to learn a whole lot more about what I didn't know about, and I'm grateful for that information. Picking up on what Commissioner Cooper said, what I would like, again, from my understanding, and you have to make it at an elementary level, is the roadmap that needs to take place from this evening on to potentially bring this opportunity to a vote and again, potentially have this situation come to fruition. So whether it be Ashley explaining it to me or Samantha or Regina, what is the next step? I know we said we're going to bring it to the redevelopment individual. What happens after that?
I think it's a good question for the prosecutor or solicitor.
Yeah, I think one of the things that was identified, I think, when we had a closed session a few weeks ago, and I think we spoke to the developer, was I don't think we have a concept plan of how the site's going to be laid out. We don't have that. So that's one of the things I think that, one of the boxes that needs to be checked.
Okay. So besides the concept plan, what are other things that need to literally occur so we don't miss a step and have this go on further? So with the provision of a concept plan, what then happens? Again, I'm sorry?
Can I make this easier for everybody, Commissioner? If you would like for Samantha or Commissioner Udalovich's department to give you a report as to what is required, I think you can do that tomorrow morning. I think they have no problems in giving it to you in writing or giving it to Mr. DeSantis or their attorney in writing.
Okay.
And I think that could be answered tomorrow.
I want to further say that I don't think there's any malwill here. I don't think I believe that there's maybe miscommunication, missteps along the way, but from what I learned and from what the public heard a little bit of tonight, if this all comes into play, this could really change Millville. I mean, it could revolutionize where we are. The proposal that we heard earlier this evening, and I'm not going to talk about that, but it seems in my eyes to fit directly with what Mr. DeSantis wants to put together as well. The three of you, I mean, if you have any questions to Mr. DeSantis, please reach out. But I'd like to see a map, and I will reach out to either Ashley or Sam tomorrow so I could fully understand step by step what needs to happen to provide that to Mr. DeSantis. So we're all on the same page, so we know that we're going to get to where we need to be. That's kind of where I'm grateful for the potential opportunity. I'm excited about it. Maybe it needs to be discussed in a work session, like a literal work session where the public is present and they could ask questions. And again, I'm not that familiar with the process, but I think the greater understanding that's provided for the residents, as well as a greater understanding to the commission itself about the idea, I don't see any downside to that. So with that, I'm hoping that we all could come together and see this plan move forward. And with that, again, as you said, I do not like to read the issues that are going on with the city. I don't believe I will. I will provide them for the individuals to know what's going on. And with that, I'm hoping for better times ahead. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Udalvis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the public, as stated through various statements, it is important to open information to the public and discuss the importance and the feasibility. With that regard, it is also important that we also respect contract negotiations and those items which our city solicitor have deemed are important to keep, at that point, privy to the commission and to legal counsel. To the commission, I also recommend to our commissioners that the qualified personnel and city solicitors who provide their professional opinions should be regarded when evidence and measures are taken to protect the city. The item pertaining to our presentation item this evening is not new or unique to this commission or former commissions, but when our commissioners regard our professionals who are far more qualified than us to make a decision, we can only be effective decision makers when we set aside our egos, self-images, act humbly, and do what is responsible to not only move our city forward, but to also safeguard it as we should. At the end of the day, I am only one resident who acts as representative, and I can ease my conscience knowing that I have acted suitably with the information with which I have been presented and we have all been presented. I thank our professionals for their continued dedication across all departments, including our city solicitor and our city administrator, city clerk. And with the conclusion of this statement, Mr. Mayor, progress.
Thank you, Commissioner. Vice Mayor.
I have nothing at this time, Mayor.
Thank you. The word due diligence comes up a lot at these meetings. And I can tell you, Mr. DeSantis and your attorney, Mr. Magazoo, that we're doing our due diligence in this. And this is the process. This is the democracy, right? This is what we're trying to do, to work the kinks out so we can get it right, not just for us, for the entire city, the people that we represent. And I like someone used the word, this is impersonal. It's not at all personal, at all. But we're looking for what's best for the entire city. And me personally, I think there's more work to be done on your side to represent or present to us. Other than that, it was a great meeting. Thank you, all of you, for coming. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
This means adjourn. Have a safe trip home, please.